Fine, Jeremy. I see your comment.
You took me by surprise, Mark. I didn't. You got to give me some heads up when we're going live.
Listen, this thing runs like a machine. I am so happy. Everybody, please shout out to Jeremy in the chat. We found out a way to unban him in the. He found a way to unban Jeremy. Oh, that's so fun. Let's go. Let's go. Lars in the building. What's up, Lars? Good to see you as always. Patrick, let's go. Justin with the hype. I feel that energy, Justin. Marcus, let's go. Toby is the Spider-Man. I mean, sure. Josh from Uzbekistan, what's up? This is a good question. I'm going to star this one so we can come back to it. What's the results? We'll talk a little bit about that, what we found out. Inea? Is it Inea or Inea? I want to say your name right, so definitely let us know how to support you best. Terabyte in the building. Welcome back. Okay. Agilesh from India. Kochi, what's going on? Hey, it's Simona from the Angler team. What's good? And look at this. Look at this. We got Jeremy. Finally, we can see Jeremy in the chat. So much fun. So much fun. Unbanned for now. Alex, what's going on? Good to see you. I've been chatting with Alex this week. He has a really good idea for a super dope demo, and we're going to see if we can bring it to life. It's a really good idea. So we'll talk about that more. Yeah, well, I got. Now I have an idea.
Okay. The three of us. You're just gonna message me on chat.
I was gonna say, right. The three of us should just chat online about the idea that I had that we could all do that could work out. Hans in the building. All right. Let's see. Dromar in the building, or Dr. Omar. Could be either Dr. Omar or Dromar. What's good? Mikai, what's up? What's up? What's up? Amir, what's going on? Hello, Joe Hartanate or Joe Alternate. But you said from Dominican Republic, so I tried to like Joe Hartanate, but I think it's Joe Alternate. See what's going on. All right. A couple more people, and then we got to get started. Vinit was good. Let's see, anybody else that I missed? If you said hi to us, we need all right from India was good. And then Patrick from Croatia, let's go. Okay, fine. Steve, you're the last person I'm shouting out directly. You got in under the wire. All right, right under the wire. Steve Whitman in the building was good. All right, friends. Well, sounds like it is time for us to kick this party off this week or this month. We're not going to build a game engine from scratch and then fight our way through it. Hamza, you did say hi. Hello. You're right. Okay. Yo, this is true. I was just in a meeting with Jessica right before this call. So I will let her know that the streets are asking for her to return. Sounds good. Oh, yeah. All right. I just got to add some stuff.
Jessica's just too busy for us.
Too busy. You all don't know her schedule. Too busy.
Coding all the things, but making everything work.
Yep. Out in these streets. All right. Let's see. Jeremy, are you ready for me to share your screen so you can take us away to what we're going to be doing?
Let me start my dev server here and hide you behind a browser tab. So
there you go.
We can do that. So tell me when you I'm ready to go now. So you can tell me when you see my whole setup here, and chat can tell me if my font size is big enough.
Jeremy, listen to me. I want you to change something about your setup.
What do you want?
I want you to use Windows Subsystem for Linux instead of like Git Bash terminal.
Use that WSL. Sounds like work. I have.
Yeah, I want you to do it. I want you to do it. I want you to figure it out.
Is it good?
I don't know. I'm going to find out because I just got a Surface Pro 9. I just had to treat myself to a little device because I need a new laptop. I had a Surface Book 2 for years, since 2017, and I said, okay, it's time to upgrade. So I got a Surface Pro 9. And I'm going to install WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux, and WSA, Windows Subsystem for Android. I want to see how those work out.
Yeah. You know, I want this to be dark mode. We're going to do a dark mode one today.
Ooh, dark mode. Dun dun dun. Okay. Let's see. Did font size? Okay, so we got one. So Hamza asked if we can increase it. Is this okay, Hamza? Still, can you see it? Friends, I started working on this. I have not gotten a solution yet. We are working on getting subtitles, like live captions, for our stream. We're working on it. I have not gotten it sorted out yet, but we are working on captions.
Oh, dang it. YouTube has this thing. I'm trying to like pull the stream up over here so I can look at my own font size on the stream, and YouTube has this button that is like, it's the arrow with the line on it, which on a live stream I keep thinking means like go to now, and it actually means like just go to another video, and I keep pushing it and doing another video.
All right, so we got a question. Can you use a higher contrast dark theme? Is that possible? Do you have something set up for that?
I can look into that for next time.
Okay, it's a good note. I'll put that in our notes, our show notes for next time to keep working on our captions and keep working on getting for high contrast dark mode. We will look into that. Let me add that to the show notes.
This is right now just the standard WebStorm Darkula that I have modified over the years to whatever whims have struck me in the moment.
All right, we got one more request. Can you hide your terminal since it's already running?
Yeah, I'll hide the terminal.
Stretch out the window.
The whole thing over here.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. What font do we want? I want a different font. Cambria, that sounds fun. Yeah.
You know, friends, I want to say something while he's setting up. Thank y'all for supporting this live stream. Jeremy came up to me with this idea of us like just streaming, and I wasn't sure that the streets, like the people, will want to see this, but you all keep coming back, and you're having like a good time with us. That's like wild to me. So thank you for that. Thank you for participating. Thank you for supporting us.
Okay. Oh, nice. See, look how incredible WebStorm is. I changed the name of this class, and it also renamed all the files for me, updated my ng module, everything. I'm not sponsored by WebStorm. I'm just a fan.
Oh man.
All right. So, as you may have guessed, I decided to just do Minesweeper today because I know how to do it. I was really tempted, Mark, to just like be like, I don't feel like coding. Let's play Stardew Valley, which is one of the few games my computer can actually run without a keyboard.
I would have been open to that.
But let's go ahead and build Minesweeper.
All right, while you're building Minesweeper, I got to tell you, I have a God of War Ragnarok-sized hole in my heart right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I've finished and I've completed everything, I beat Gná and I beat all the dragons and all the everything. So now I'm like disappointed that I don't have a game with such tight combat to take my attention.
Well, you have the Horizon DLC to look forward to soon.
But the combat's not as satisfying, especially with the parry mechanic in God of War. It just makes it feel so satisfying.
Yep. So I'm just going to use a table for right now. I want to change this to use CSS Grid later, but I forgot how to use CSS Grid. So.
I can tell you, but whenever you're ready.
Well, then we'll collaborate on that when we get there.
Yeah, when you get there. But wait, Jeremy, this is going to be funny. Look at this comment. This is going to be funny.
Oh yeah, create Minesweeper with signals. Mark literally asked me, "Can we do a demo with signals today?" I'm like, I need a little more time to prep something for that.
So that's why I said it's funny, because I literally DM'd him like, "Hey, can we do this with signals?"
I could try. Let's see. Let's start off with something simple and then see where we end up. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, first things we're going to need to do is I just want to add some simple styles for this table here. So we're going to add. Oh, I accidentally did CSS instead of.
Oh, the streets are saying signals. We will see if we can get there. Everybody, just keep on.
No, actually, don't want that.
Okay, Jeremy, the group is really live today and it's really funny. So he
Yeah,
said,
look.
Enia is Mark's second account. Lucas, that's funny. That's really funny because Enia really wants signals, but we'll try to get there. But right now, we'll do what we got to do.
Yeah, we're just going to code like regular, and we'll see where we end up. I want some padding here on the cells. These paddings are going to be, let's just call it I'm going to actually say 1 EM. Start practicing I'm not used to doing. Okay, so first things first, we're going to need a grid. So let's start off by saying we've got our grid here, and our grid is going to be a 2D array of tile. And we're going to initialize that to an empty array at first. But we're going to need to create this tile interface. So let's go ahead and just create that as an interface right now. And this is going to have is mine, is Boolean. It's going to have is revealed, Boolean. And we're always going to have num adjacent mines. That's going to be optional. And that is going to be a number. So that's kind of the data structure we need for each mine. And we are going to initialize that tile. So we're going to create a little function that is initializing this. Let's call it make grid or something like that. And this is going to take in like the rows, which is a number, and the calls, which is a number. And it's also going to take the mines, which is a number.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. BitBinge, why standalone components down? What's wrong?
Oh, why am I not using standalone components?
I don't know. I can't tell what happened, but it seems like. Oh, I think they wanted you to make it a standalone component.
Oh, so the reason it's not standalone is because I forgot to specify the standalone flag. I ran NV new before the stream, and I didn't like. I can change it in a bit if I want, but yeah. Let's focus on the game logic right now.
All right, and Mark Texan, will you guys ever do a stream on 3JS and Angular? You know, that's something I've thought about us doing, like using technologies when we're like building stuff. So that's not like completely out of the realm of possibility for us, I think. I think Jeremy and I will have to plan a little bit more to get there. But yeah, that's something that we're open to, you know, trying out some new stuff. What about you, Jeremy? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll try anything. I've never used that before. Like 3JS is like the 3D rendering thing, right?
Something like that, yep. I think it's like a 3D library that like gives you some like cool stuff. Actually, that could be really fun.
Yeah. So you know what? We're actually not gonna.
All right, let me get some questions because this is also a question and answer show. When is the result of the Angular signals RC? So when are we going to announce kind of the next step once we've responded to, you know, all the feedback and we figured out what we're going to do next? When will those details become available, Jeremy? Any idea? Any like part of the process?
We don't have a set end date just yet. We are kind of just seeing how the feedback, the stream of feedback, and when the feedback we're getting actually like starts to ebb, and we're like we think we've gotten all we're going to get, we will probably close it. Yeah, nothing official just yet.
All right.
What is this complaining about?
This is a good question. Sorry.
Why?
Let the streets know what you're doing so far, Jeremy.
So right now I'm just initializing the grid for this. So we're going to say grid and game grid. And we're going to start off by just like a 10 by 10 grid with we're going to say 5 mines as the starting point. And we're going to make all of this like configurable later, but right now we're going to start here. And so then this is going to return results. Right, I'm getting a little distracted because like my dog is over like whining to go out and my phone is ringing. So I am.
Oh wait, okay. So here's something very cool. I will say though, signals have made my native script running on a potato fire stick much more performant. Okay, I'm only laughing at the potato fire stick part. That's really funny. But you know, I like native script. And this is my opinion, not the opinion of the team. This is Mark Thompson's opinion, Mark Texan. I actually like what NativeScript offers as an option for developers to build like native mobile apps. I know that people have asked for that. And I think the one thing that NativeScript, I think that they could just do a really stronger job at like advertising is their like hook, which is this idea that you have access to the underlying APIs of the platform directly in the code that you're writing. So you don't have to write any bridge or channel code. And I don't know why they don't talk about that enough. Like that is super dope that you can do that. And I wish that they did more to talk about that.
Mm-hmm. Am I doing something wrong here, Mark?
What you do? Let's see.
Oh, I didn't import common module.
Yeah, I do common module.
All right, so here, let's make this. Let's go ahead and do the thing. Oh, phantom import. Let's go ahead and make the standalone. Let's just like. Oh, but then I have to change to Bootstrap application.
You can do it. Come on, main.ts. Get over there.
Fine. This will take all of 40 seconds.
Yep, all 40 seconds. That's right. No, not true RS. They are. It's not only has it been maintained, they just joined some like open source org that makes sure that it's like around. Yeah, there's a team dedicated to this thing. It's great. You realize that it's pretty great. Let's see.
Any of that? That was so hard.
Yeah. Did you do Bootstrap application? You got your component, Minesweeper. Wait a minute.
What?
Did you not call your application or your main app app.component?
No, why would I?
Oh, Jeremy, look at you.
We're gonna call this. Can I rename this? I was hoping WebStorm. Oh yeah, WebStorm does help let me rename this, so I can rename the selector here.
And the way y'all roasted me with my own custom style guide last time, to see you do what you're doing is really interesting.
Unbelievable. And so that should actually, yep. Again, WebStorm lets me rename selectors. Great.
Yeah, all right. Let's get some more questions.
And then I have to go delete this ng module.
Yep. While you're doing that, I'm going to ask a question. Is it possible to automatically test screen reader like Android and iOS in respect to finger swipe and tab keys? How do we do it at Google?
What was that question again? Sorry. It's hard to
how to automatically test like Android, iOS. I don't think this is necessarily an Angular question, but it's respect to finger swipes and tabs and keys. Like, how do you automatically test those things with screen readers and stuff?
I'm still not recognizing my.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for this, Hans. How to automatically test that? It's a good question. I don't know.
So this isn't actually called, but this is tile.
All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to ask another question here. Oh, Dimitri, I remember your profile with you doing the finger tapping on your guitar. I actually remember that. Would there be a CLI option to create new apps with standalone components? I mean, automatically generated Bootstrap. Yes, that is coming out. I think we have that already, where you can use the schematics right now, like the generate schematics. And we have schematics that'll be ready for V16 that even migrate your application. So Jeremy could have technically migrated his existing application from the command line.
I think
you got to bring in all of common module and not just ng4.
I think I might have to just restart my dev server.
Oh yeah, if you haven't done that, that's also an important part of the story.
Yeah. Why can't it? Oh. What am I missing, Mark?
This is one of my.
This is an index, but.
What's up?
I need to say like let index here. What's going on here? All right, let's try what you suggested and just say common module here. But I don't think that's it.
Nope, does not seem to be the. Let's see what the streets are saying. Let's see if we can get some support here.
But this is a different problem now. So yeah.
Oh, it's in, not of.
I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure it's of.
That's what this person is saying. It says ng4 is not of, is in. I don't know. That seems weird.
I'm pretty sure it's of.
Let call of row.
Definitely of.
Yeah.
I think WebStorm may have just not caught up here. This is definitely complaining about something else here, but so it's saying like type tile cannot be used as an index type. Right, I'm not using it.
Okay, while you're solving this, let me answer this question. When can we expect the NGX translate capability natively in Angular 4/core with live translation change to avoid multiple package creation? Okay, we made a decision to do the translation layer the way that we did because most people do not switch between like languages on the fly. This is what we've noticed. Now, if there's data to suggest otherwise, that people are actively switching, and then that the impact of the page refresh that you'll have to do, because what ends up happening is this: you build a smaller bundle by default when you're using the solution that we came up with. That is our like value add with going that direction. I know, but we've heard a lot of people ask for this live switch thing. Most people don't operate that way when they switch languages. Like I don't go between Spanish and English back and forth with like a page usually. So the refresh isn't as big of an impact in general, but I understand this question because we've heard it before. Good question.
Yeah, so that should. Here we go. Yeah, I don't know what was going on there, right? What I had should have been fine.
So what did you have to change?
I mean, I just wrote out this whole thing here, but like really, like let index should have worked. Maybe I'm just, I got very little sleep last night, so maybe I'm just tired and forgetting stuff. But okay, here's our grid. So here's what we're going to need to do to make a Minesweeper. So I'm just going to scaffold out some functions, right? So we have to place mines, right? And so that is going to take the grid, and I'm just going to edit it in place. So that's the tiles there. And we're also going to have to a reveal function, and that is going to take the grid, which is like this tile array, and a row index and a column index. Cool. Right, and that's going to happen when you click on any given tile.
So everybody wanted you to do this, Jeremy. In your template, they wanted you to use row instead of grid of R.
Oh yeah, I could absolutely do that.
Mm-hmm. You need that semicolon there on 5. Is that going to mess you up?
No, it should ignore that. That's all fine.
Here's something that's very cool from Ahmed. I feel comfortable when I see someone else trying to solve a problem. Yes, I am not alone. Despite the fact that people have this reputation for like Googlers being like these robot geniuses that know every single thing, never make a mistake, that is completely untrue. We are regular people who do work and make mistakes and have the same things that you all do, right? So, yeah, I'm glad that this is helpful to see us just like struggle. And if you want to see a real struggle, watch my stream from last month where I tried to build a game engine from scratch in an hour and a half. And I was trying to like dynamically import components. It was just a chaotic moment.
Yeah. See, for all my
Jeremy,
praises of WebStorm, it is being a little weird. I don't know what's going on with it. Like this code is fine, and WebStorm's just like red for no reason.
people want to know, shouldn't your functions ideally be defined inside the class? I always say this to him, but he has a reason for this.
So there's different ways you could do it. I'm just being lazy right now because none of this like actually. Well, all right. You're in this case. I think you're right. So let me move this into here. Reveal, because yeah, I'm actually like instead of passing this grid around everywhere, I'll just reference it on the state here. I will give the caveat I always give on these streams, which is to never like don't take what I'm doing here very seriously. We're just kind of like freewheeling, and if I were coding for real, like to build up, stuff for work, I would approach it very differently. I'm gonna leave this one here for now, though. So yeah, let's go ahead and.
Oh, here's a scientific reason for you doing it. When the function is outside the class, the CLI can rename it and give it a shorter name. We save 10 to 20 bytes of JavaScript.
Yeah, like that is fine. Inside of Google, actually, the Clojure compiler also renames not just class methods, but all properties, property renaming. And that is also like a pretty big byte win overall, but it really constrains what you can do in the JavaScript that you write. Like you can't ever use kind of the index signature to read properties of things because they will have a different name in the production environment. So, okay, Mark, what do you want to do first? Do you want to do with revealing a tile that gets clicked, or do you want to place the mines in the deal here?
Oh, let's reveal the tiles because I don't care about the mines yet. I just want you to be able to click on the tile and then it goes from like the shape to like revealed, right?
So cool. So first thing we're going to do is check that our row and column are in bounds. So if row is less than 0, or column is less than 0, or row is greater than grid dot length, or call is greater than grid of 0 dot length. And we'll guarantee that the grid is always, I forgot this dot everywhere. Don't put it in parens. What are you doing? So yeah. See, maybe that's a reason I would have put this in another function too, and then I got a this dot everywhere. Wrap that a little. Right, so if we're out of bounds, we're just gonna return. We don't need to do anything. Then we're also, I'll put another or in here. We'll just like, or this dot grid of, well, actually, no, I'm not going to do it like that. Because once I do that, then I want to say const tile equals this dot grid of row column. Now we have our tile. We say if tile dot, if it's revealed already, we just return. Because we don't want to double reveal things. Then we're going to say if tile dot is mine, then I'm going to just put a to do here. To do, you lose, reveal the whole board. So we'll leave that to do for later. And then otherwise, we want to reveal this tile, right? So tile dot is reveal equals true. And then if you've ever played Minesweeper, you know that sometimes you click on tiles and it reveals a whole swath of things. Do you know why that is, Mark?
Wait, say that again. Sorry, I was trying to catch up with some messages. Ask me again.
So, have you played Minesweeper and you click on a tile and it reveals a whole bunch of tiles?
That is correct.
Do you know why that happens?
Yes, because those tiles are not mines.
It's more specific than that. It's because if you reveal a tile that has no adjacent mines,
Right.
then you would just get a tile that has a bunch of zeros around it, and you could like click on, or you have a tile that has a 0, and you could just click on all of the things around it. And so to save time, anytime you have a tile where the number of adjacent mines is exactly 0, you can also reveal all of its neighbors.
Right, because it doesn't have, right.
Right. So to reveal all of its neighbors, we're going to say for...
You do with a for loop?
Why wouldn't you? Let's say,
because I usually do this problem with recursion.
Hold on. Well, we're getting there.
Well, yeah, I was just saying, reveal my neighbor. You just say, hey, look, I'm going to say I'm blank. Are you blank? You tell me if your neighbors are blank. And that's kind of what I think about that problem. But
okay, response. Real. So this is recursive, right? But we use this for loop here to get all the adjacent tiles, right? So we're going from I-1 to 1, J-1 to 1. So that is going to iterate through both all of the neighboring tiles. And now you might be wondering, hey, Jeremy, when I equals 0 and J equals 0, isn't this going to be the same tile you're already on? And yes, it will. And so we don't actually have to worry about that case, because in reveal here, before we ever get to this code, we mark this tile as revealed. So when we come back around, we already see that the tile is revealed and we just return. So that's a no-op. So we don't have to add an extra check for that. And we also don't have to do any bounds checking here, because we're doing our bounds checking here at the top. So again, that just becomes a no-op.
So let's see it.
I gotta have mines first.
Oh, you don't have any mines
to reveal anything.
That's right. You don't have any mines.
So now let's go ahead and place the mines. So I'm gonna quiz you, Mark. See, this is out here. I'm gonna move this back down. We can refactor later, but
isn't that the way we always live our life? One code at a time, we refactor later. So your mine's got to be inbound. So your things here, right? Mine's got to be inbounds, and then you got to can be where mine already is, and then
yep. So actually, I don't know that I need this whole separate function now that I think about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to say let mine count equal 0, and don't at me on this.
You already have his mine.
Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that. So mines plus plus, I'm going to iterate that, and I want to set this to true if it is less than mines. Don't do this in real code.
Why? So why are you doing this?
In the code where you have to live with your teammates. But basically what I want to do is I want to set a number of tiles to is mine true equal to the number of mines. And so this, I could just iterate it and set it to true at the same time.
Oh, don't do this, y'all. So look, if y'all looking at Germany doing all these like clever tricks, don't do this stuff, because when somebody else got to like read it, what does it even mean?
I already did mess up. It's mine count.
See? There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, this should give me what I want. So let's actually render it out and see. So I'm gonna just say change this to is mine. And if it is a mine, I'm gonna print M, otherwise empty space. So I was saying 5 mines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool, that does exactly what I wanted it to.
Now we got to randomize them because right now they're just.
That's right. So now we are going to shuffle this. And for that, let's see, what's the best way to shuffle this? So you kind of want to just treat this 2D array here as like one big array, right? So we are going to effectively like, right? Like we're going to treat each tile as if it has a pretend index.
Hold on 1 second, Jeremy. Would it be bad for me to share a link to my CSS sweeper, my 100% CSS implementation of Minesweeper with 16 levels? Post the link. Post it if it'll let you, but you can try to post it, Jane. I think that's really rad that you made that with CSS only.
So this is going to be R times number of.
Okay, so here's a joke that's too smart for me, so maybe you get it. Why do programmers always mix up Halloween and Christmas? Because October 31st equals. Oh, hi. I got it. That's actually funny because Oct 31 equals like, yeah. All right, decimal 25 equals. Yeah, I got it. That was funny.
Cool. So, and then we're going to just change this to like an asterisk to indicate a mine here. So you can see here we're kind of saying like each of these cells has an implicit index in this list. And so when we randomize, we are going to like swap based on this conceptual index instead of like the actual index in
sure
arrays, right? And so this is just kind of a little debugging aid to print out the index of these. So I'm going to go open up the spades project that we made in our first, oh snap. I accidentally closed Minesweeper. Open recent. Where's open?
Why would you need Angular for this project? We don't need Angular. We're just having fun. That's all. We're just trying to do stuff in Angular. Like, does it make sense for games? I don't know, but it's just fun. That's all.
Yeah, we're just here to hang out and answer your questions and code something silly while we do it.
Yeah.
It's
overkill, not overkill. It's correct kill because it's just having fun.
All right. So here, I'm going to steal this shuffle function from when we did spades. Bring that back over here. But we're going to have to modify it because instead of having a deck of cards, we have this 2D array of tiles.
Yep.
And so here, instead of saying, we're going to call this, we're going to say const total tiles is equal to, this is going to be the grid.length by the width. So grid.length times the grid of 0.length. So instead of using the length there, we're just going to say the total tiles. We're going to basically go through every tile and randomly swap it to somewhere else. And we're going to get our swap index here. Yeah, so again, not grid.length, but the total. And then we want to swap the values. We want to swap the tiles at those 2 positions, but those 2 positions aren't real grid indices, right? Oh, and I remember you had me do this convoluted inline swap.
Yes.
So what we want to do is get like, let's call it row Let's call it just like row 1.
All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to ask another question. Okay, wait. What was anything? Oh, hold on. That's not the question I tried to click on. I will come back to that. Don't worry. What's the best way to be perfect in Angular? I don't think perfection is the goal. I think effectiveness is the goal. So how do you become effective with Angular? Write Angular code and you keep working and you learn from like great community members. There are people doing some really cool stuff. We have great docs and courses and things coming out. So I feel like, just keep building. You keep doing it little by little. Jeremy was not born an Angular expert, right? He just spent time doing it.
Am I doing this right? This is going to be...
Okay.
There's a small chance I have swapped these things around. But we're going to find out. Let's see. So we have our swap row and index, and then we want our original row.
My intro course is coming out soon. At this point, I'm just waiting on thumbnails to be done by the design team so they can look good so people can click on them. But remember, it's an intro to Angular course. Our advanced Angular course has not been written yet. And the things that you may be looking for as a person who's quite advanced at Angular, this course is not for you. I will let you know now. It's not for you. It's for people who do not know any Angular and they want to get into web framework development stuff.
So this is going to be original row. So original row, right column, and then
I'm going to let Jeremy finish some more stuff. I want to see if there are any more questions that I can answer. Let's see.
Oh boy, it doesn't like this.
Oh, this is a good question, Jeremy. You got to keep coding. How to build successful UI framework like Angular as a framework developer? How are you guys sure that the things you are building will be useful for application developers? I can answer this, and Jeremy can jump in if he has some bandwidth. But one thing we do that we found is that working like alone in a silo is not the way to find out what people want. We found that RFCs are very helpful and like reading our GitHub issues. Like all those things are very helpful for us to understand what developers need. And then we really do try to take that in consideration when choosing something else. For example, when it comes to our reactivity model, we've heard feedback about the reactivity model not being effective for applications at scale. So we started thinking about it, but not because we woke up today and was like, oh, we want to change everything. We really try to spend time thinking and listening to the community and taking that feedback and trying to make decisions that serves the developer. I think if you're trying to build a framework, which I think is super rad, listen to developers. That'd be super great. Listen to your developers.
I think I might have mixed these up.
Okay. While you sort that, let's see. Hopefully that was helpful, AG. It's a very philosophical answer, but it's true. That's how we've been, doing stuff.
Those will be always integers anyway. Yeah, okay. I knew I mixed those up. So what I'm doing here is like what I'm doing with the div and mod operations here is just extracting the actual like real row and column indices from the like conceptual index that we see here. And the reason it worked the first time I ran this is because I was using the same number of rows and columns. And so I changed the number of columns to be different and immediately it broke. But then like swapping these, it goes back to working. So you can see our mines are randomly positioned now. And so, yeah, I think we've talked about this in past streams, but this is like an interesting thing of we shuffle these tiles for random placement. Like a lot of people will naively just like kind of say like, oh, I'll just like iterate through all of these and generate a random number. And if it's, above some threshold, right? So like I'll make a probability and say like, okay, I have 100 tiles or 80 tiles, I have 5 mines, and so there's a 5 out of 80 chance that any given tile is a mine, and so I'll just like go through every tile and generate a random number, and if it's in that 1 in 5 out of 80 chance that like 5 in 80, I'll place a mine there. The problem is with that is you have no guarantee that you're actually going to get that number of mines because it is random, right? So you can end up with more mines or less mines, or like you might say then like, oh, I'll just count. And if I don't get enough, I'll place more. If I get too many, I'll just stop. But then you could end up like iterating through this hundreds of times and still not hitting that probability of placing a mine. So by just putting all the mines in front and then shuffling it, you're guaranteed to only ever have to go through it once.
Hey, Manos, I'm super happy that you want to learn Angular. Keep an eye on the Angular channel for the next couple of weeks. I got a brand new Intro to Angular course coming out that maybe it could be helpful to you. Let's see, Jeremy.
What do you got?
Is that an orange arrow that means web store needs update in the right corner?
Yeah.
That's Chaos Monster caught you.
Do you want me to update WebStorm in the middle of the stream?
I mean, yes, we should not come on the stream with not updated software. Jeremy, what are you doing?
Look, I thought we started at 11:30, and then a few minutes before, I was like, "Oh snap, it's right now."
Yeah.
Okay, let's change some CSS because I want to. Yeah, let's do this. So I want to put a CSS class on here. We're going to say class. Revealed equals all that is revealed.
Speaking of CSS, I just found a really nice CSS course that I'm going to take just to brush up on all the new stuff. Just because there's so much CSS, it moves so quickly, and so I'm like, yeah, let me brush up on some new stuff and just get some new CSS skills.
We are in like a golden age of CSS.
Yeah. You know what I'm really excited about is the Page Transitions API, because while I love mobile development, I just think that once like mobile phones support that Page Transition API, like browsers, like Samsung Internet, and then Safari on WebKit, or is it is it WebKit on Safari for iOS? No, is that what it's called? I can't remember. Anyway, if it is WebKit or not, doesn't matter. I want to really just get into that and see how we can make mobile web applications be even closer to like native apps. Incorrect. Flutter impact. As Flutter web is getting stronger with Angular focus from no. Angular is our web technology for building web applications. Flutter web has its place, but if you're building a scalable web app, I'm not sure that that's the first place that I would go is to use Flutter web. I think that if you have a Flutter app and you're trying to think about cross-platform and like that type of stuff, I think Flutter then kind of makes a lot of sense. But for the web with all the like standards and everything that's built into the web, this is not happening. The Google team will not fade away from Angular gradually. But hey, good question. But Flutter is dope. Let me be super clear. I built apps in Flutter in production, like shipped and everything. Flutter is really good for the use cases that it makes the most sense. Yeah, Vinny, the course that I'm going to do is Josh Como, I think is his name. Josh Como, he does it's called CSS for JavaScript developers, and I just want to go through it all again. Yeah, really cool.
Cool. So we also have a number of adjacent lines, which I realize I haven't done yet.
Jeremy, this is actually a good question I want you to chime in on.
Yeah.
Is it true that the roadmap does not foresee official support, so out of developer preview, for signals until Angular 17? So does it not make sense to use signals for a current project with version 16 now?
So in version 16, it is developer preview. So we don't recommend shipping something to like production, an important app to production that is using Angular signals, because the behaviors might change a little bit, the APIs might change a little bit. We're pretty confident in the API shape, but definitely the behavior and how they integrate with Angular is definitely subject to change. I also can't promise that they will be 100% out of developer preview in V17. We want to make sure we take our time and get it right and not, rush in order to get something out the door. But we are pretty confident that we are on the right track.
Yeah, great question. Let's see. Chaos Monster, there is no performance implication in anything we're doing right now. We're just trying to make it work. But Jeremy, is there a performance reason that you use array indexes instead of passing around and changing the title object?
I just feel like it. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say there's no performance thing.
I'm I'm just kind of winging it as I go, and if we have time at the end, I will revisit some of these decisions.
Well, you're running out of time, so you got to keep going. I want to answer more questions.
I gotta hurry.
Let's see. Can we be able to build iOS and Android apps using Angular without any external API in the future? We are not. There are no plans to build something like Angular native, because I think this is what we're kind of getting to here, Jacob. No Angular native. There are fantastic community solutions that already exist that solve this problem, and so we want to focus on Angular itself, and then the modality like mobile, right? That's something that like Ionic does fantastic, NativeScript does fantastic, and if you want to use a PWA, you can get really far. That's why I was mentioning the modern CSS, because I want to see how far we can actually take things with like PWAs, even though PWAs people use them or not. I just think there's still some cool opportunities. So you got 3 options: Ionic, Ionic, NativeScript, and PWAs. Those are the ways I would build mobile apps using Angular right now.
Let's see. Mark, do you see the bug with what I'm about to type?
Let me see. Well, first, capacitor. Yes, capacitor. So Patrick, when I said Ionic, I was talking about their tool set. But yes, capacitor is great for what we're doing, for what people want to do with mobile. Okay, let me see your thing you just typed.
I'm just gonna initialize this real quick to always 0 initially. What's the bug here? Boy, I got a lot of nesting here.
You got a lot of nesting.
A little refactoring.
Okay. Title, if it is a mine, Kyle is a mine. Okay. Results. Oh, I don't think that accounts for mines. Like, I think you're only going to get one, maximum of 1 on these. I don't think it's going to show you 2 if there's one adjacent to that one.
Well, no, because I'm doing ++, right? And so as I iterate, then for anything that has more than one, for each mine, I'm going to increment its neighbors, and so that'll do it. It's that this will go out of bounds.
Why is it going to go out of bounds? Because you're already only going within the bounds of the what you call that?
Because this is
you're only going with the rows and columns though.
Right, but I'm saying for each row and column, take the tile and then iterate through everything around it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, it's already broken too, so
it's going to get out of bounds. So in real life, I would extract out an inbounds function or something like that. But right now, I'm just going to copy and paste this check I did over here.
Oh, wait. But this is why I said recursion for this, because then when your base case is the bound, but you can get this data from recursion.
Recursion, Mark.
But this is super complex. Like all these nested for loops, I like recursion for this problem. Like you get over that.
This is J.
Do I think PWA gets over native apps in the future? Josh, I don't think that it will be a replacement. I think that native apps will always have like API access that the web will not keep up with, and maybe it doesn't even make sense to give the same like hardware API access all the time. So I don't think you'll ever get PWAs more than native, but I do think that PWAs are underrated. I'll tell you that. I think that for sure. PWAs are super underrated in what they can do.
All right. So this is super wrong.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wait.
I know why.
Before you answer that, you gotta tell the streets one more question, Jeremy.
All right,
Because
what's that?
not now they're tagging me directly. Can we use CSS variables in template HTML?
Sure. You can bind them. Angular supports that.
There you go, Arif.
You can bind
Arif.
You can bind CSS custom properties. See, it looks like it's setting everything. Oh, because I'm results.
Okay, wait. Before we go to that one, you recommend use of inject function or the constructor-based injection as always in your component. So should you always just use inject, Jeremy?
Yes. This, I don't know. Like, this is a little maybe premature because we do need to go and like update the style guide and all of the examples on Angular.io and all that. But definitely the inject function is like our preference is moving towards that. It has a number of advantages, and I really love it. The inject function is great.
Yeah, I like inject. I like how clean it is because yes, the constructor-based thing, like once you learn that that's what's happening, fine, like dependency injector versus in the constructor. But I just really love the idea of like that inject function just being super clear that I'm injecting this dependency for this thing. Let's see. Mark, what are the stats usage of SSR with Angular? Anything new coming out for SSR? Yes. Yes, new stuff is coming out. Jeremy, can we say anything about that?
We're working on it.
Yeah, that's all I can say, right? We're working on it.
You've seen if you're tracking GitHub, you see all the work going on DOM hydration. It's no secret.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mark. You want to help me figure out what I'm doing wrong?
Yes, somebody already figured it out. It ignores C and R.
Say that again. Sorry.
Chaos Monster says it ignores C and R.
Oh. So right. So I see. I want to increment plus.
On line 71, yeah, you got to do some CNR stuff in there. Chaos Monster coming through.
Same thing here.
Let's go, Chaos Monster.
Same thing up here.
But wait, I got to tell him one more thing. You got to change your name to Helpful Monster because that's super helpful. And you've been super helpful in the streams. All of you are. So there you go. We love it.
Oh, I broke it.
Oh, it's worse. Let's see. Can I read probably undefined of none-mind? Okay. Why don't you drop in a breakpoint so we can just like get some data?
Oh, you know what? This is actually a little more complicated. So here we can just say if results, what is the like of R's? Well, so this one doesn't need to be that. R plus I and C plus J. Is that the optional chaining for array index? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, just parentheses before the bracket.
Whatever, it's fine.
Right, you should be able to do that. Parentheses before the bracket.
Be right though. Oh, but no, it's plus. Yeah, I did the same thing.
Oh, you need a dot. Somebody's saying.
Oh yeah, it is a dot. Okay.
Yeah. Who was that? Somebody.
Are you simpler results?
Oh, that was Alex. Look at Alex. We should get this guy a job at Google because Alex is coming in clean.
Question mark. See. Okay. No. Still not right. All right, I'm going back to my array indices. And this is C plus J. There we go.
All right.
And
So let's see.
so we also want.
I'm spot checking you. Let's see. Shouldn't that be 2 though?
Yeah, it's hold on. If I equals 0, j 0, also continue. There we go. That's right. Okay, here's a mine. It has
Sounds
one.
good,
No, why are these 1?
Right. Hmm.
What are you doing,
All right,
Code?
let's
What
see.
are you doing?
Let's see. Helpful Monster says R plus I must also be optional. But you're not using that anymore. Okay, but you're doing something else. No problem.
Yeah. So if yeah, again, this is our yep. C plus J. I should have just done this. So yeah, let's I could simplify this a lot. So what I should have done here is instead of saying like -1 to 1, I should have just made this like R -1. I have less than R plus 1.
Because you're missing diagonals, so it's not like searching up, down, left, and right. And then up.
1.
Yeah, so you could do it that way. If it is a mine, search up.
Plus 1. No, it's sorry. It's just C here. Right, and then I can get rid of all of this like repetitive arithmetic.
All right, let's see. Here's a question for killing time while you fix this, Jeremy. What's your best Angular questions to ask Angular developers in the interview? Hey, community, people who hire Angular developers, reply to this comment. I want to know what you folks ask. That'd be great to hear.
Okay, I think this is actually correct now. This is all correct now. Cool. So now if I click here, we also want to, hold on, my reveal needs to, in is mine, this needs to like return and not keep going.
Okay, so that looks good. Your numbers are right. So, okay, you're getting better.
Huh. This is
AOT versus JIT ahead of time compiling and just in time compiling. Oh, that's an interview question. I'm like, I know the answers to that. Oh, that's a question for. So that's a good thing to ask. Yeah, AOT versus JIT. Yeah, there you go. Let's see another interview question people like to ask. An open-ended question like performance optimization techniques that the candidate knows. Very nice. Oh, okay. For senior Angular developers, we usually ask about the principle of change detection in Angular, which is changing. So what are you going to ask them now? Because right now we have change detection that is Zone.js based, and Zone.js likes the monkey patch events trying to tell you that something might have happened. So you don't have to do things like set state, etc. But now we're changing it to give you a different option. Interesting.
See, I messed something else up here. What did I mess up now? So this should bail out if we go out of bounds. So that's working because we're not getting errors. This gets the current tile. If it's revealed, we bail out. If it's a mine, we bail out. And here we reveal it to true. And only if number of adjacent mines is exactly 0 do we do anything else. And so here, when I click on this 1, only this tile should reveal. That worked.
Cool.
Now, when I click on the 0, it reveals everything now.
Okay, before you fix that, change the UI. You already know if it's a mine or not, and if it's revealed or not, right? By the data. Make the UI be like squares that change colors.
All right, well, hold on. Let me actually just
I know, but that's what I want you to do.
I'm gonna comment this out. I'm gonna comment that out, and that, and we're gonna put the real logic in here, which is So if tile dot is revealed, we show the
All right, hold on. I gotta answer some questions because somebody keeps asking me the same question. Which loop is faster, for loop or for each? For loop is faster, but here's the real value of a for loop over a for each. You cannot break out of a for each loop, right? But you might be able to break out quicker in a for loop. So if you have a million things that you want to go through, you're stuck in that for each, even if you do a return inside the for each, because the for each is a callback, and the return that you put in there will be the return from the callback. But the for loop, you'd be able to actually break out of that and stop your execution. So hopefully that's helpful to you, Arif. Oh, I like this. Interviewer, talk to me about unit testing, integration testing, and end-to-end testing. Give specific examples if possible. I do like that. I like that. Chaos Monster says, I'm interviewing people for senior and above. You got to tell me about the incremental DOM. All right. Oh, I like these things. Jeremy, we should start conducting some Angular interviews on the live stream just to have fun. Like invite somebody else to do an interview. We should not do that. That sounds like a lot of stress. Let's see. Patrick says, how to lazy load routes. Yes, I like that. Guards versus resolvers. Ooh, I like that. What are modules? Well, what are modules, Patrick? In the world of standalone components with optional modules. What are services for? Create a simple app with a JWT implementation. Nice. I like that last one. Do you all give a lot of grace to the people you're interviewing with these things, or are you expecting production level code? That's interesting.
I mean, interviews are not about getting a right answer. Interviews are about kind of probing how the candidate thinks and how they solve problems. And so it's really more of a conversation to gauge, like, how does someone approach solving a problem, and not like, have you memorized a correct solution to this?
Hey, yo, Esther White back in the building. Mona Code Lisa. Let's go. Esther, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a bit. Good to see you. Welcome back. I prefer pair programming like session. I am more into how they think. Chaos Monster. I like that energy. Why is your this in tile? So why is your tile all red, Jeremy? Like a syntax error. Oh, okay, there you go.
I'm just because I'm working.
You working?
And here we're just gonna say tile. So
let's see, not production code. We don't want to take a lot of time to candidates. Okay, understanding the fundamentals is important. Patrick, I like that energy, because if you understand the fundamentals of how something works, you can usually build your way up to the next thing. Very nice. Very nice. I love all these questions, folks. You all are out here being fantastic, asking some good questions. Let's see. I saved some questions from earlier I want to hit on when Jeremy has a second. These ones I didn't know the answer to. Let's see. Do I know the answer to this? When are we going to see single file compilation in Angular?
It's something we're working towards. Don't have like an ETA or anything like that.
Okay. You heard that, Ania. Something we're working on. We're working towards, not working on, working towards. Excuse me. Very different thing. Yeah, because somebody will definitely watch this stream and be like, well, Mark Thompson said they're working on.
That's definitely a mine. That's definitely a mine. That's definitely a mine. This one's safe.
You don't have any win state yet.
That's fine. I know. So that's fine. Ooh, this one's 3. So 1. This one's safe. This one has to be a mine. And that's mine. So that's safe. That's it. We did it.
Do you know how to do? Okay, so go back to your template real quick. Let's change a couple of things.
Sure. What do you want to change?
I'm gonna tell you. Okay, instead of F, do the flag emoji. You know how to put your emoji keyboard?
All right, we're gonna.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Ooh, rainbow flag.
Triangle flag. All right, fine. No, do triangle, because it represents a bomb. Just do triangle.
Angle for bomb?
Yeah, for red.
Right.
Because the red flag says the bomb's there.
Why can't I pick bomb emoji?
I want you to put a bomb emoji for when you blow up.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm saying for flagging, I want a red triangle flag.
But I like, okay, I see what you mean. Red triangle? Okay.
Well, that was a flag, but you can use that too. That's fine. Yeah. Whoa, did you see that? Because you know how emojis can be like multiple characters?
Yeah.
Sorry, like Unicode width? That flag was 3 Unicode width.
Yeah.
1, okay.
I want to actually hit a mine here, so boom.
Yeah, okay, looks good.
Oh, so I actually want to say like is revealed and not is tiled is mine. Let me do that. Mine, cool. So,
okay, so flag one. I want to see your flag on there.
yeah, flag.
Boom.
See, I like the flag better.
Well, there's a red flag I'm saying that you can use.
Okay.
Yeah.
And flag.
Yeah, okay. That one. That's the one I want you to use.
All right.
Yeah.
There
you go. So how are you flagging them versus clicking them?
Right clicking.
When did you put that in there? I didn't even see that.
You just weren't paying attention.
I was answering questions.
We want not is revealed.
This is what I'm talking about. Windows dot to display the emojis. That's what I'm talking about. I use that. That's right. That is right.
Cool. So now let's add our win and failure conditions, and I think we're done.
Yes. Okay. You got 7 minutes.
Cool.
Let's see. As you do that, continue. I'm just reading more people.
Say, is win. Well, let's call it game state. No. Let's just call it like
naming is hard.
Victory status. We have.
All right, while you're doing that, sometimes I throw a non-solvable problem into an interview. So, Chaos Monster, do you let them know that the solution is undefined? Like you don't know what the answer is here, so then they can get the pressure off of like panicking that this problem is really hard and they don't know that they are not designed to win it? Do you let them know that?
Were you talking to me, Mark?
Oh no. There was a Chaos Monster suggested that he also will, or they, I don't know what they are, that they also would do pair programming with impossible questions or unsolvable questions. Mm-hmm. And I was asking, do they let the person know that the solution may be, undefined or complicated? Because I could see it go both ways.
Let's see.
That's one of the most interesting things I find about TypeScript is how you can define a type that is a string, and it's not a string, but it's a type. And it's not a type string. It's that type defined by the string. That's such an interesting thing that you can do there. But then it'll coerce when you try to compare it against a string, right?
Yeah, these are just strings. So if
okay, that sounds good.
Flag count plus count equals grid dot length times grid 0 dot length.
Oh, this is a good question. I like this, Alex Kilpatrick. For an Angular specific question, tell me about a specific incident where an Angular upgrade resulting in breaking changes affecting code and how you fixed it. Hey, we really try not to let this happen to you, but it is inevitable that it will happen at some point. That you may have breaking change, but we really do try to do a good job of keeping, backwards compatibility there. Oh, this is good from Hiron. Do you know the bundle size of the current last Angular project you've worked on and what you did to shrink it? Nice, nice, nice.
And fine.
Hello. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by.
Oh, I'm so close, Mark. We're really gonna finish this game.
I know. I'm letting you work while I'm just answering questions and letting people know that we're
we want to reveal the whole board at this point. So okay, so we actually don't need. Okay, yeah, I've made this a little more complicated than I need it to be. We're gonna call this.
Well, you're programming live, so it's totally fine.
False.
So if you want to get developers to write code that's not focused on like the solution and you just want to see their like kind of high level thinking, one thing that I've experienced before is having to write code in like a doc without any editor, no code hints, none of that stuff, just like writing solutions to problems. That was interesting.
We don't need this anymore. And this is actually just say, let's see, we're just going to reveal everything here.
So I like saying I don't know in interviews, and I also one time I was in an interview at a company for an engineering position, and I remember the person asked me, I still remember this. They said, "Why would you use a vector?" It was a Java developer position. Why would you use a vector over an array? And then I was like, "What?" I literally said, "What?" I said, "That's a trick question. Nobody would use a vector. You shouldn't even use vectors anymore." And they started laughing. But now that I think about it, I'm like, why would you ask me a trick question in an interview, though? Like, why would tricking me be a part of the skills assessment? Now that I think about it. But I like saying I don't know in interviews, because if I don't know, I don't know. I'm not going to lie. That's wasting time. I'd rather tell you, I don't know, but here's what I think.
Cool. So let's see. Let's play. So I'm going to try to make this fail. So boom, that failed. It revealed everything, and I'm just going to add a little CSS class here of fail equals lose, and class victory is win, and we will just add a couple of styles for those. So is failed. Oops. And we're just going to invent red border 1px. Let's actually say like 4px solid red. And 3 is solid green.
Coding without an editor feels brutal. So used to autocomplete. It is true, but you practice that type of stuff. If you're going to like do a job where you got to do it, you practice beforehand. You don't really, Oh, Jeremy, look at that nice CSS. I see that not in the parentheses. I mean, like, that's so cool.
Yeah. Whoops. I actually want to.
Oh, we got a good point here. This is really important for you, Jeremy. Could you really call it Minesweeper without an emoji up top wearing sunglasses if you win? So you have to add that. You got 10 minutes.
All right, we can do that. We're not going to get to that to do.
That's right, Esther. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it turned out to be a good job, but I just think that interviewing practices have come a long way since I've been working for almost 20 years. So interviewing practices have come a long way since just the beginning, and where interviews were kind of designed to weed you out versus like I like to see interviews as a confirmation round, right? Like if you get to the interview because we've talked to you, we've seen your work or whatever, I like to see it as like, okay, let's confirm that you are like going to be a good fit versus let's make sure you can't get in or let's weed you out. I don't like that type of process, in my opinion.
I'm gonna do it.
Don't. Oh. Okay, so that. That one. So, yep.
And that. Okay. We didn't get our victory condition. So why not?
Have you confirmed that every square has been revealed?
So what I'm doing is because I didn't increment my flag count. If is flag this dot flag count equals
Aaron, that's pretty good. I would ask to do the same thing I asked you to do. Using Angular, do it without Angular. Look at you. You probably want them to get out there with that document query selector and get in there and change some CSS classes and all that kind of stuff. Fancy.
That's definitely mine. That's mine. Not a mine. That's a mine. Not. Oh, I failed.
Oh.
All right, we have to we actually have to be. Oh, here I could just make it simpler. We're gonna do a 3 2 with 1 line. Boop. Fine. Oh, we still didn't get the victory condition. So I'm gonna just put.
Are you checking victory on click?
We're gonna say flag count and reveal count and flag count.
Ooh, what is provided in and when should you use it?
Files is this.
Wait, what happened to the person who kept asking me about for loops and stuff? You never confirmed that I answered your question and that's what you wanted to know. Did I tell you too much information? Is that what it was? Maybe.
Oh, my reveal. I didn't actually ever increment my reveal count. That's why.
There you go. Debugging in real time versus yeah.
This is cool, actually. So
Mono 26. I was just about to say the same thing. Debugging by printing to the screen. You know, Jeremy, one time we're gonna have to do this test-driven game development. Where we just like write tests first. Do you think that'll help us or hurt us?
For this style, we would need a lot more time. And then was 1. And now we're adding up the number of revealed cross. Whoops, what'd I do? Unexpected. Oh, I can't do that. I can't put a plus equals in an Angular thing here. Okay.
Well, it's not full. Oh, wait, what is that? Is the right-hand side only limited to template syntax?
So I thought I could use plus equals in an event expression here, but apparently not. So I'm just gonna.
Well, your interview questions, Alex, were all about testing. So I expect this opinion from you, which is, I'm not saying, I think it's a good opinion. But we're talking about from speed. Like, would we be faster at solving these problems if we did tests first? for like the challenge rounds, because these are more like challenge rounds where we get an hour and a half to try to like program a game. Here's another question. Would you all like to see us program anything else besides games during this stream? I think we want to program games, but
insurance forms. No.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe somebody might be like, hey, can you implement something else? I don't know, but I want to answer a different question. Let's see. Duplicated question. Ask us this as many times as you need to. We're happy to answer this. Will Angular 16 fully support signals? No, Angular 16 will have the developer preview, which will have 3 reactive primitives. You'll be able to use effects, you'll be able to use signals, and you'll be able to use computeds. We're still gathering lots of information from the RFC on the future of all the things that we talked about in the RFC, but we're not giving you that stuff. And we're not even set on that stuff yet. This is what we think, and we're going to still figure it out later based on feedback and stuff.
There's definitely a little buggy behavior here. Something's not right. Because I should never click a 0. It should always reveal everything around it.
Wait, right? In signals or program signals? Sorry, Jeremy, go ahead.
Anytime I click something that's a 0, all the cells around it should also get revealed.
Right. That are also zeros.
Not also zeros, but it should like terminate with numbers. So there's
saying that it's not bombs that are within the like touching. Yeah. This is why I'm telling you. This is why I like recursion for this.
Mark, I am using recursion.
Look, no, you're not. You're doing for loops. It's all for loops. I'm not mad at you for it.
Mark. I've got this reveal function. I'm calling reveal.
Oh, you sure? Okay, you're right. You're right. I didn't see that part.
The for loop is to get the adjacent tiles around it, and it's because why do you think this J is not used?
Jeremy was tired of me saying that. My bad. I didn't see that part. Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of for loops in here. I'd simplify some of these if I were to go clean it up. But why is this buggy? Right. So I'm going to all of the names. This is I. J. I'm like guessing I just have like a typo somewhere. Call plus I, call plus J. Like that should go to all the neighbors. It should reveal them. It'll skip out if row or column is less than that. Row or column.
Oh, this is fun. I'm gonna write this one down. This one sounds really fun. Simple Excel clone. I saw someone write one in plain JavaScript once, and it was like less than 16 kilobytes. So it's super possible. Chow, somebody asked us for this already, so thank you. Somebody already asked us to implement 3JS into our game stream, so maybe we will. Oh wait, here's what somebody says. Line 70, you don't loop, you return after the first iteration.
Oh, yep. I messed up when I did the count. I meant to do count plus equal and then return down here. Good call. Thanks, chat. That works.
We actually did this video with some dynamic component creation last time. So some of the games that we try to make do come with that type of thing. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
Keep watching.
There we go.
There is a stream of Jeremy building chess called Chaz. CHASS. We have a stream of that. We have a stream building Uno, spades, chess, a game engine, Minesweeper, Boggle. Yeah.
Okay, it's done.
Nice job. And wait, go back, go win again. Look at the sunglasses. Let's freaking go. Okay, chat, please give Jeremy a big round of applause. Also, give yourselves a big round of applause for supporting and helping us debug, because I was not very much help this stream because I was so busy reading your comments and questions. Very fantastic. Yeah, Jeremy, good job. You finished this program.
This is the first time we finished a game in an hour and a half.
Oh, second time you did Boggle. You made Boggle in an hour and a half.
I don't think we fully finished Boggle. I think the scoring aspect we didn't finish.
Oh, we did not finish scoring. You're right. You did do this. One quick question. Have we watched Fireship's video about signals? Yes. And is it so amazing that so many nice things were said about all of our hard work? Yes. Thank you for asking. We are ahead of our time, but doesn't make us right. We could be ahead of our time about stuff and not always be right about it. But I'm super grateful that, and I think we all are grateful that the community is seeing the work that we're putting in. And one thing about being on the Angular team that I'll tell you is just we like live and learn. Like over time, we just live and learn. And I think that's one of our greatest strengths is that we're not like beholden to some like code of like we're always right about everything. Therefore, we'll make only decisions that we think are right. So, Jeremy has a great talk about this perspective, actually. If you search YouTube for NGConf 2022, there is a talk called a 10-year retrospective on Angular. And it's a really great talk where we just really discuss, well, specifically we, meaning Jeremy and Alex, just discuss decisions that were made and what we think about those decisions 10 years later. So it's a great talk. You should watch it.
Yeah. I just want to play Minesweeper now.
Wait, somebody asked us for a big challenge. Try building the Stardew Valley fishing mini game. Before we agree to that, can I just tell? I got to tell the streets the story though about Stardew Valley, and then we can keep going. All I'm going to say is this: I thought that I was getting Stardew Valley, and I messaged Jeremy, and I was like, "Jeremy, this game is really bad." And he's like, "What game?" I'm like, "This game is too hard, and I don't like it." And I didn't have Stardew Valley. What's the game that I downloaded and bought instead? I bought Terraria, and I'm like, "This game is not fun and peaceful. This game is very stressful." I do not like it.
Though, when you set up Terraria, you're like, "Put me in hardcore mode." That's meant for the experienced players who've been playing this for years and know everything.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Terraria is also a very good game. My two most played games on Steam are Stardew Valley and Terraria.
Yeah.
I had to stop playing Terraria years ago because it was taking up too much of my time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Any last statements? So that fishing game, because I think it's me next. I'll either play it on stream or I will help try to build it on stream. One of the two.
We should do a collaborative editing one of these times, and we are just gonna be stepping on each other's toes constantly.
No, but you'd have to switch to VS Code so we could use.
They have this for WebStorm too.
They do. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay, we will do one.
You'll take WebStorm out of my cold dead hands.
Oh, friends, a few things to announce before you all roll out because we're going to be done with the stream. A few things to announce. Keep your eyes open, keep notice of what we're doing, what we're working on, because V16 is around the corner. The team has a bunch of things coming up. So we had a really cool event that's going to be going live. I can't wait for you folks to see the course coming out. Jeremy, anything you want to plug or put people to notice?
No.
Yeah, V16 all the way though, right? Like Signals RC V16, new intro to Angular course. Download WebStorm.
I'll say I'm a little out of it today. I got very, very poor sleep last night. I was up at 4 a.m. So that I'm gonna use that to justify a lot of the sketchy things I did in Minesweeper today. So
Nah, Jeremy, I think people understand that.
At some point, though, Mark, let's do a stream where we talk about code health.
Yes, totally do that. I'm totally down for that. All right, friends, we're gonna let you folks get on with your days. Have a wonderful weekend, a fantastic time. We appreciate you all. Thank you for supporting Angular. Thank you for watching the stream. And until the next time, I need you to do something really important. Go build great apps. Take care, friends.